Hi everyone, so in this video we are going to be talking about taking string input from the user, and we've already looked at the basic scanf, but we had one problem there that whenever I hit space it just stopped reading at that point, and I want to fix that. So the way to do it is actually quite simple. All I have to do is instead of that %s, I just use a % and follow it with some square brackets. And within those square brackets, all I have to do is I just say I use this caret symbol, and then I say \n. And I'll explain it to you in just a moment. Let's actually just try it first. And let's go ahead here and do gcc strings.c -o strings, and let's run this now. Now it's waiting for me to give it some input, and I'm going to give it computer programming, and let's hit enter, and as you can see I've got the entire computer programming right here. So let's take a look at what we did. So this thing within a square bracket is known as a scan set. So it's known as a scan set, and the way it works is basically we are saying what characters are allowed in our scanf, and this caret right here is basically a not. You can think of it as a not. So what it basically means is what is allowed is not a \n. So basically anything except a \n is allowed. That's what this caret means. And what I can do is I can also say something like not 0 to 9. So basically it won't stop reading until it gets a number right there. So let's run this and do computer programming, and I hit enter and nothing happens. It's actually still waiting for me to give some input, and let's say I type this is a number, and then I say 10 and I hit enter. As you can see, it read right until it got this 1 right here, and that's basically what this thing right here means. We are saying what's allowed in this str is anything except a digit, so it cannot be anything from 0 to 9. Anything other than a digit, allow that. So if we want to take an input in a string but we want just digits to be allowed, so let's say someone asks me to do something like take a number and then give me all of its digits. So if I don't want to run my entire for loop which does the modulo by 10 and then the division by 10, that's basically how you would split an integer into its digits. What I can do instead is I just remove this not right here, and then let's save it. Now basically what's going to happen is I've said that only allow anything from 0 to 9 in this str. So let's go ahead and try running this. So let's run it, and what I can give as input now is, let's say 135, and then I hit an enter. As soon as I hit the enter, it takes this 135 right here, and remember this is actually a string, it's not a number. So let's go ahead and run this again, and I give 123 computer, and as you can see it just takes the 123 because as soon as it found a non digit character here, it just stopped reading because I've said my scan set is only digits. And what I can also do is I can say I want digits or \n. New line is fine, don't stop at a new line. So actually that's going to be not a good idea. So let's just say I allow a capital C as well, and let's go ahead and compile this again, and then I do a 123 computer, and as you can see I've got a 123C here. That's because I included C in my scan set. So if you want to do something like that, just use a comma. And I can also do something like this, I can say A to Z and A to Z. That's my scan set, so just allow characters. That's again a perfectly valid thing to do. But what I want to show at this point is, let's just say I use a dollar for my stopping character, and let's just say I have another scanf here, and this just takes an integer, and I'll have to declare the integer, so I do an int n, and this just reads an integer. So let's go ahead and print the string and also print the integer. So I'll need a \n %d and n, and let's go ahead and compile this program and run it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say computer and then a dollar symbol for the end, and I hit enter. As soon as I hit enter, it just stops. It didn't wait for my number input, and let's actually try giving the number input in the same line. So here I just give some random 2387 and I hit enter, and it just for some reason just says this 1 again and again. And why that 1? It's basically just the value that n had initially probably. Let's just set it to 0 this time and try it again. Let's just do again computer dollar and some random numbers, and this time it just says 0. And why is that happening? Why does it not read my integer? The reason that's happening is because for our scan set in our string, we've got anything except this dollar symbol, and as soon as it encounters a dollar symbol, it says, alright, this was not part of my scan set, I'm not going to read this, and then that dollar symbol acts as input for the next scanf. And that's actually a pretty bad idea when we are writing any program, and it should not be the responsibility of this next scanf to take care of what was the previous scanf, because in an actual program it might so happen that there are thousands of lines of code, and we don't know which scanf came before the one that we are writing right now. So what we do here is we add something right here, so that we just get rid of this dollar character right here. And to do that, it's actually pretty simple. What is it that we want to discard? It's a character, so we write a %c, and between the % and the c we just add an asterisk, and that asterisk basically means read a character and discard that character. So let's go ahead and try it again, and this time again I do computer dollar and then I hit enter, and as soon as I hit enter, it doesn't stop. It's actually waiting for some more input, and let's say I give it some number, and as you can see, I've got the output computer and then a 1 2 3, which is correct. So once again, basically what we've done is after we read our str, we're saying take the next character and just discard that character then and there, so that we've read the dollar character and then we've discarded it. And there's actually a new line character that also comes for this scanf, but that's actually fine, because what happens is that when we have a %d, it just eliminates all the leading white spaces. So whether I give for a %d, whether I give a 5 or a space 5 doesn't really make a difference. So that's fine, but if we have something like a \n here, we should still have this, so that it just takes the \n and discards it. So that \n is not going to be part of this str, nor is it going to go for the next scanf. So this thing right here is actually a pretty useful thing to do, and you can always use something like a %d if you want to take an integer as input and just discard the integer for I don't know, whatever reason you might have. but that's a perfectly valid thing to do. You can add this asterisk between any format specifier. Just be careful about your floats, because there the asterisk has another meaning as well. So that's about taking string input from the user, and in the next video we're going to look a bit more into this string library and some built-in functions that we have for our strings, which are really useful functions. So I'll see you there.